My wicked stepmother sent me hawking on the streets every single day. She thought I would never make it. But today, the crowd inside the convocation hall roared like thunder. The award for the best graduating student of the Department of Mass Communication goes to Amara. The same girl who once carried detergent under the burning sun is now the brightest star of her set, celebrated, unstoppable, and finally standing tall. So grab your popcorn, sit back, and get ready for one of the most powerful stories you've ever heard. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button, turn on the notification bell to support more inspiring stories like this one.
Subscribe for more content.
The story begins on a calm Sunday evening in Aweri, Imo State. The sun was slowly disappearing behind the palm trees, and the air smelled of roasted corn and suya from the roadside. Children were laughing, chasing tires down the dusty street. But inside a small compound at the end of the road, joy lived in one tiny heart. Amara, a 5-year-old girl with bright eyes and an innocent smile. Her father, Mr. Okori, a cocoa trader, adored her more than life itself. Each time he returned from his trading trips, Amara would run to him shouting, "Papa, Papa," and he would lift her high into the air, spinning her around until she giggled uncontrollably. "Ah, my sunshine," he would say, "you will make me proud one day." Her mother, Ngozi, was the heart of the home, gentle, kind, and always humming church songs while cooking. Together, they were the picture of happiness. But happiness, they say, never lasts forever. It started with a cough, then fever, then endless hospital visits that drained both money and strength. Amara's small eyes watched helplessly as her mother grew weaker by the day. One night, when the stars were bright and the air was still, Ngozi called her daughter close. "Amara," she whispered faintly, brushing her fingers across the little girl's cheek. "Promise me something." "Yes, Mama. No matter what life brings, never lose your kindness. You are light. The world will try to dim you, but don't let it." Tears rolled down Amara's face as she nodded. Minutes later, the house fell silent. Ngozi was gone. Mr. Okori wept like a child. His wife, his strength was gone, and all that remained was a little girl too young to understand death. Years passed, and father and daughter became even closer. They cooked together, sang together, even sold goods together in the market. Their love was unshakable. But people began to talk. "A man cannot raise a child alone," his relatives said. "You need a woman in the house." And so, reluctantly, Mr. Okori agreed to remarry. When Mama Ifeoma entered their lives, she came like a gentle breeze, sweet voice, soft laughter, and fake humility. She smiled at everyone and carried herself like an angel. But beneath that smile hid a dangerous secret, jealousy. She saw how much her husband loved Amara, and inside her heart a storm began to grow. That night, as Amara slept peacefully, Mama Ifeoma stood by the doorway, watching her, her lips curved into a cold smile. "Enjoy it while it lasts, little girl," she muttered under her breath, "because soon everything will change." And just like that, the days of joy in the Okori household began to fade, replaced by whispers, harsh orders, and silent tears. Amara had no idea. Her real battle was just about to begin. The first few weeks after Mama Ifeoma moved in were peaceful, too peaceful. She smiled all the time, cooked delicious soups, and even called Amara, "my dear daughter." "Amara, come and eat," she'd say sweetly. "You're my child now. I'll take care of you." Mr. Okori believed he had made the right choice. He often said, "At last Amara will have a mother's love again." But love can wear a mask. Slowly, the sweetness began to fade. The voice that once called Amara "my dear" began calling her Useless girl. It started with small things. Amara, go and fetch water. Amara, wash these plates. Amara, you didn't sweep well. Start again. Amara obeyed quietly, thinking it was just normal house chores. But it only got worse. One afternoon, while Mr. Okori was away on a business trip, Mama Ifeoma sent Amara to hawk sachet water under the burning sun. The poor girl's tiny legs ached as she carried a heavy basin on her head. When she returned with only half the money, Mama Ifeoma's eyes turned red with rage. "You think I'm joking with you?" she shouted. Slap! Amara staggered back, holding her cheek in shock. "Tomorrow you will sell everything before coming home. Do you hear me?" Tears rolled down the girl's face as she nodded silently. When night came, Amara crept into her small corner of the room, the same room that used to belong to her mother. She lay on the mat and whispered into the darkness, "Mama, why did you leave me? I'm trying to be strong. But it's so hard." She cried until she fell asleep. Days turned to weeks and the cruelty grew. Mama Ifeoma made her wash clothes from morning till evening, sometimes without food. If she complained, she was beaten. If she smiled, she was mocked. "Why are you smiling? Do you think this house is yours?" When neighbors asked why Amara looked so pale and thin, Mama Ifeoma lied easily. "She's lazy. She hates chores. I'm training her to be responsible." And people believed her. But every night, when the world was quiet, Amara would sit by the window, look up at the stars, and whisper, "Mama, I will not give up. You said I'm light? I'll keep shining, even in the dark." She didn't know it yet, but someone out there was about to walk into her life and change everything. The sun was merciless that day. Amara walked barefoot along Douglas Road, balancing a tray of detergent and soap on her head. Sweat rolled down her face, but she didn't stop. Each step echoed her silent prayer. "God, just help me sell everything today. Pure detergent. Buy your detergent. Clean soap for your clothes," she called weakly, but most people ignored her. Some laughed. Others just waved her away. By afternoon, her feet ached, her stomach growled, and her throat was dry. She leaned against a wall to rest when a voice suddenly called out, "Amara, is that you?" She turned quickly. Her eyes widened. Standing a few feet away was Kelechi, her old schoolmate, the girl who used to sit beside her back when life was still bright. Kelechi looked different now. Confident, neat, wearing a university t-shirt and holding a small purse. But her smile was the same, warm and sincere. "Kelechi," Amara said softly, her voice trembling. "Yes, it's me, my God. It's been years. Look at you. What happened?" Amara froze. Shame washed over her like a cold wave. She tried to hide her tray behind her. It's nothing. "I just helped my mother to sell," she said quietly. Kelechi's face soft. She could see through the lie. Her eyes fell on the scars on Amara's arm, the faded slippers, the sadness in her voice. Without hesitation, she hugged her tightly. "Amara, it's okay. You don't have to explain. You were the smartest in our class. You helped me pass mathematics. What happened to your dreams?" Tears welled in Amara's eyes, but she quickly blinked them away. "Life happened, Kelechi. Life happened." Kelechi took out some money and tried to give it to her. "No, I didn't mean to," Amara began. "Please," Kelechi interrupted softly. "It's not charity. It's friendship." They stood there in silence for a moment. Then Kelechi smiled. "Listen, I'm coming back to town next week. I want to see you again, okay? Promise me you won't disappear." Amara nodded slowly. For the first time in a long while, she felt warmth. Not from the sun, but from hope. That night, as she lay on her mat, she couldn't stop thinking about that encounter. Maybe God hadn't forgotten her after all. Maybe, just maybe, Her mother's words were true. Light never dies, no matter how dark the night becomes. What Amara didn't know was that Kalachi's return would soon set events in motion that would change her life forever. Days turned into weeks, but that brief meeting stayed in Amara's mind like a sweet dream she never wanted to end. She replayed Kalachi's words over and over. You were the smartest in class. You helped me pass. For the first time in years, someone had reminded her of who she used to be. One Saturday morning, as Amara was sweeping the compound, she heard a soft knock on the gate. "Amara," a familiar voice whispered. She froze. Her heart skipped. That voice, she knew it. She ran to the gate and peeped through the small opening. And there she was, Kalachi, smiling brightly, holding a small nylon bag in her hand. "Open the gate," Kalachi whispered again. Quickly, before anyone sees, Amara opened it, just a little, fear flashing across her face. "What are you doing here?" "If Mama Ifeoma sees you, she won't," Kalachi interrupted. "I just came to see you. Please, let's talk." They sat behind the mango tree near the fence, their secret spot now. Amara told her everything. The beatings, the hunger, the torn school books, how her stepmother lied to her father and made her hawk every day. Kalachi listened silently, tears gathering in her eyes. "Amara, this is wickedness," she whispered. "You can't continue living like this." Amara sighed. "What can I do? My father believes her. He thinks she's good. And if I ever tell him the truth, she'll punish me." Kalachi thought for a moment, then reached into her bag. She brought out a small envelope. "Take this," she said. "It's for your admission form. The Polytechnic is taking new students. You deserve another chance." Amara froze, staring at the envelope like it was gold. "Kalachi, no, I can't take it. If my stepmother finds out, she'll destroy it." "Then she doesn't have to know," Kalachi said firmly. "You'll fill it secretly. I'll handle the rest. You just promise me one thing, that you won't give up on your dream." Amara's eyes filled with tears. She wanted to speak, but her throat tightened. She nodded, clutching the envelope close to her chest. "I promise," she whispered. Just then, a loud voice echoed from the house. "Amaraya, where are you?" It was Mama Ifeoma. Panic flashed in Amara's eyes. She quickly hid the envelope under her wrapper and whispered, Go before she sees you." Kalachi squeezed her hand and whispered back, "Remember, your story is not over." As Kalachi disappeared through the gate, Amara took a deep breath, her heart racing. She looked toward the sky and whispered, "Mama, maybe help is finally coming." But little did she know, trouble was already waiting, ready to destroy the little hope she had just found. A few days passed. Amara hid the admission form and the small envelope from Kalachi carefully inside one of her old school books, the only book her stepmother never bothered to touch. Every night she would secretly fill in the details under the dim light of her candle, whispering prayers under her breath. For the first time in a long while, she felt alive again. She had a dream, a reason to wake up. But evil has a way of smelling hope. One afternoon, while Amara was out fetching water, Mama Ifeoma went into her room, searching for money she believed Amara had hidden. She opened drawers, lifted clothes, and flipped through books until she found it. The envelope, the filled form, the receipt. She froze. Then her face twisted into pure anger. "So this foolish girl wants to go to school behind my back?" she hissed. Over my dead body. When Amara returned, carrying a heavy bucket on her head, she heard her stepmother's voice before she even reached the door. "Amar Ahea." The bucket slipped from her hands and crashed to the floor. Water splashed everywhere. Mama Ifeoma stood in the doorway, shaking the form in her hand. "What is this nonsense?" she screamed. "You want to go to school? You think you're better than my children?" Amara's lips trembled. I just wanted to try. I used my own money." Before she could finish, a sharp slap landed on her face. "You used whose money?" Mama Ifeoma shouted. "Everything in this house belongs to my husband, and I decide what happens with it." Tears streamed down Amara's cheeks. She fell to her knees, clutching her burning face. "Please, Ma, please don't tear it." But it was too late. Mama Ifeoma ripped the form into shreds, one piece after another, laughing coldly as the papers fluttered to the ground. "You will never go to school. Never. As long as I'm alive, you'll remain a hawker." From the doorway, Ifeoma, her daughter, laughed mockingly. "Mama, leave her. People like her are meant to sell things, not hold pens." Amara looked at them through her tears, heartbroken, powerless. That night, when the house grew silent, she gathered the torn pieces of her form and held them close to her chest. "God," she whispered through sobs, "is this how my life will end? I just wanted a chance." But as she cried, someone quietly opened her door. It was Chisholm, her stepbrother, Mama Ifeoma's only son, gentle and kind, unlike his mother. He sat beside her, placing a small lantern on the floor. "Don't cry," he said softly. "One day you'll leave this house. You'll become something great." "I know it." Amara looked at him through her tears. "You think so?" Chisholm nodded. "I don't just think, I believe it." And for the first time that night, a faint smile appeared on her face.
The morning sun rose slowly over our Ree, painting the sky gold. Birds sang on the fence, but in Amara's heart, there was no song, only pain. Her face was still swollen from the slap, and her eyes burned from crying through the night. She tied her old wrapper, balanced her tray of goods, and stepped out quietly before her stepmother could bark another order. As she walked through the street, people passed by, some buying, some ignoring, but she kept whispering under her breath, "God, please don't forget me. Just one miracle. That's all I ask." She didn't know the miracle was already on its way. A car suddenly slowed beside her. It was a sleek black Corolla, clean, shiny, far too fine for the dusty road. Amara stepped aside quickly, afraid of being scolded by the driver. But then she heard a voice she knew. "Amara." Her heart jumped. She turned and saw Kelechi sitting inside the car. "Amara, get in," she said, quickly opening the door. Amara hesitated. "No, I can't." Mama Ifeoma said, "Forget her for 1 minute," Kelechi said firmly. "Get in." Shaking, Amara slowly climbed into the car. It was her first time ever sitting inside one. The soft seat felt strange beneath her dusty clothes. Kelechi looked at her, the bruises on her face, the tired eyes, the rough hands. "What happened?" she asked quietly. Amara broke down. The tears she had held back for days poured freely as she told Kelechi everything, the torn form, the beatings, the words that cut like knives. By the time she finished, Kelechi's eyes were filled with tears and anger. "No, this must stop," she said, her voice trembling. "You don't belong in the streets. You belong in school, Amara. You belong somewhere better." Amara sniffed, shaking her head. "Even if I try again, she'll destroy it. She always does." Kelechi took her hand gently. "Not this time. My father is a senior lecturer at IMO Polytechnic. He'll help. He doesn't have to know who you are. I'll handle it. Just promise me you'll be ready when the time comes." Amara's lips parted in disbelief. "Kelechi, you do that for me?" "Yes," Kelechi said with a small smile. "You helped me once when no one believed in me." "Now it's my turn." For a long moment, they sat in silence, their air thick with emotion. Then Amara whispered, "Maybe destiny hasn't forgotten me after all." Kelechi smiled. "It never does. It only waits for the right time." As the car drove away, Amara looked out the window at the fading street, her heart lighter than it had been in years. For the first time, she believed maybe her story wasn't written in pain alone. Maybe God was writing a new chapter. But back home, Mama Ifeoma was already pacing the compound, her face dark like a gathering storm. "Where is that girl?" she muttered. "If she doesn't come home soon, I'll teach her a lesson she'll never forget." Trouble was brewing and Amara's courage was about to be tested like never before. The sound of Mama Ifeoma's slippers hitting the ground echoed through the compound like thunder. The moment Amara stepped in through the gate, she knew the storm had arrived. "Where are you coming from, you useless girl?" Mama Ifeoma barked, eyes blazing. "I sent you to Hawk since morning, and you're just returning now." Amara froze, clutching her empty tray. "I sold everything, Ma," she stammered, but her stepmother wasn't listening. She noticed the faint tire marks of a car on Amara's dress and the faint smell of perfume that wasn't from any detergent she sold. "You entered somebody's car," she screamed, pushing forward. "You think I don't know? You want to become a prostitute, ABI? You want to bring shame to my husband's name." Before Amara could explain, a hard slap cracked across her face. "Pa!" Her ears rang. The world spun. "Mama, please," she cried. But another blow came and another. Neighbors peeked from their windows, but nobody dared intervene. They all knew Mama Arfime's temper. The woman was a roaring lion, proud, mean, and impossible to reason with from today. She shouted, panting heavily, "You'll stop this nonsense. Forget about school. Forget about friends. Forget about that Kalechi girl. If I ever catch you talking to her again, I'll pour hot water on you." Amara fell to her knees, crying uncontrollably. "But Mama, I just..." "Shut up," Ifema hissed. "Do you think your father is blind? If not for me, you would have been in the streets. I feed you, clothe you, and this is how you repay me." Amara's heart shattered. "Feed me," she thought. "Clothe me." The only clothes she wore were old rags she patched herself. The only food she ate were leftovers Kingsley sneaked to her when his mother wasn't watching. As Mama Arfima turned to leave, Amara whispered under her breath, "One day, you'll see. You'll see that all your wickedness won't stop me." But she didn't realize Mama Arfima had hurt her. "What did you say?" she roared, turning sharply. "You dare talk back to me?" Amara tried to retreat, but it was too late. Mama Arfima grabbed the nearest broomstick and descended on her. Every stroke carried years of hatred. By the time she stopped, Amara's body was covered in welts. Her legs trembled. Her lips bled. She lay there silently, her tears mixing with the dust. Then, in the darkness of that small corridor, something inside her changed. Pain turned into determination. Fear turned into fire. "If the world wants to see me suffer," she whispered weakly, "then I'll make the world see me rise too." That night, as the moon shone faintly through the window, Amara pulled out a torn exercise book. With shaking hands, she wrote her dream on the first page. "One day, I will become great no matter who stands in my way." And with that, she began her secret journey toward destiny, one that even Mama Ifime's wickedness could not stop.
The next morning, the sun had barely risen when Amara was already out on the street, her tray of detergent balanced perfectly on her head. Her body still ached from the beating, but her spirit burned brighter than ever. Each step she took echoed with a silent promise, "I will not give up." She hawked along her usual route, but this time she didn't go straight home after selling everything. No, she turned sharply toward St. Mary's Secondary School, a place she had only dreamed of entering. She stood outside the gate, watching students in clean uniforms laugh and chat. Her heart ached. She missed the smell of chalk, the sound of lessons, the feeling of learning something new. Then, suddenly, "Amara?" She turned around. It was Kelechi, her best friend from the old school, before Mama Ifeoma pulled her out. "Amara, oh my God, is this really you?" Kelechi ran to hug her, eyes wide with shock. "Why do you look like this? Why aren't you in school?" Amara tried to smile, but her lips quivered. It's a long story." Kelechi looked at her tray. "You're hawking detergent now?" Amara nodded slowly. "Mama Ifeoma said school is a waste of time, but I still study in secret," Kelechi gasped. "In secret? How?" Amara pulled a small, torn notebook from under her tray. Inside were handwritten notes, copied from old textbooks she had borrowed from neighbors. The pages were dirty and wrinkled, but every word was neatly written. "I read them at night," Amara whispered. "After hawking. I hide the books under my mat so she won't find them." Kelechi's eyes filled with tears. "Amara, you're amazing." Just then the school bell rang. Kelechi looked toward the gate, then back at her friend. "Wait here," she said, running off quickly. 10 minutes later, she returned with a kind-looking woman in glasses. "Amara, this is Mrs. Nena, our school principal." Amara's heart pounded. "Good afternoon, Ma," she said shyly. The woman smiled gently. "So you're the famous Amara I've heard about. Kelechi says you still study despite everything." Amara lowered her head. "Yes, Ma. I want to finish school one day." Mrs. Nena studied her for a moment, then sighed deeply. "My child never stopped learning. I started just like you, barefoot, poor but determined. Tell you what, come here after hawking. I'll let you sit in the back of the class. You won't pay a cabo, Amara froze. Ma, are you serious? Yes, my dear. But you must promise to keep working hard and never give up. Tears filled Amara's eyes. She knelt quickly. Thank you, Ma. God bless you, Ma. That day, as she sat quietly at the back of the classroom, listening to the teacher explain mathematics, Amara felt alive again. For the first time in a long while, she wasn't just a poor hawker, she was a student. But deep down, she knew if Mama Efiama ever found out, she'd destroy everything. So Amara decided to keep it her greatest secret. She would hawk by day and study by night. A double life, one of survival, one of hope. For weeks, Amara lived two lives, the hawker everyone pitied by day, and the secret student who dreamed of a brighter future by night. Every afternoon, after selling all her detergent, she would sneak into St. Mary's Secondary School through the back gate. She sat quietly behind the class, taking notes on everything she heard. Sometimes she didn't even have a pen. She wrote with charcoal when ink ran out. Yet every word she scribbled was filled with determination. Her teachers noticed her sharpness. Her classmates admired her humility. And Mrs. Nenna, the principal, began to see something extraordinary in her. But one fateful afternoon, her secret world came crashing down. It started like every other day. The sun was high, the streets buzzing with noise, and Amara was rushing home after class, hoping to reach the house before Mama Ifeama returned from the market. But that day, fate had other plans. As she approached the compound, she froze. Her stepmother's voice thundered from inside. Amara, where is this useless girl? Amara's heart dropped. She hid her books under her wrapper and slowly walked in. Yes, Ma, she said softly. Mama Ifeama turned sharply, her face red with anger. Where are you coming from? Don't lie to me. I went to sell the last of the detergent, Amara stammered. Oh, really? Ifeama sneered. Then explain why your wrapper smells of chalk. Amara's mouth went dry. She glanced down. The faint white dust from the classroom was still on her wrapper. Before she could explain, Mama Ifeama snatched at her waist, tearing the wrapper open. Out fell her secret notebooks, covered in chalk dust and scribbles. What is this? She screamed. Amara dropped to her knees, crying, Please, Ma, don't tear them. They're my school notes. School notes? Ifeama's eyes widened in disbelief. So you've been disobeying me all this while? Sneaking out to that useless school instead of hawking? She threw the books to the ground, stomped on them, and grabbed a stick. I will teach you a lesson you'll never forget. The first stroke landed on Amara's back, sharp and painful. The second hit her shoulder. She screamed, begging for mercy. But Mama Ifeama was blinded by rage. You think you're wiser than me? You think reading nonsense will put food on the table? Suddenly the door burst open. Mr. Okafor, Amara's father, had returned from his long trip unexpectedly. What is happening here? He barked. Both women froze. Amara lay on the floor, her books torn, her eyes swollen from tears. Your daughter is disobeying me, Ifeama shouted. Instead of hawking, she sneaks to school like a thief. Mr. Okafor turned to Amara, stunned. Amara, is this true? Amara, trembling, nodded slowly. Yes, Papa, I only wanted to learn. I didn't mean to disobey. There was a long silence. The only sound was Amara's soft sobbing. Then her father sighed deeply. Ifeama, that's enough. You've done more than enough. What? You're defending her? Ifeama snapped. But Mr. Okafor shook his head. Let her learn. I was once poor too, but education saved me. If she wants to study, I will not stop her. Ifeama's eyes widened in shock. So now you're choosing her over me? I'm choosing what's right, he said firmly. That night, for the first time ever, Amara slept without fear. Her father had seen the truth, but Mama Ifeama? She wasn't done. As she lay awake in the darkness, she whispered to herself, "You may have won today, Amara, but let's see how long your luck will last." The storm wasn't over, it was only beginning. From that day on, the air in the house turned cold. Mama Ifeama's smiles disappeared completely. Her anger grew darker with every sunrise. She stopped giving Amara food. She locked the kitchen, poured away her bath water, and made her walk twice as far, but Amara didn't complain. Her father had finally allowed her to study, and that alone gave her strength. Yet Mama Ifeama was not a woman to accept defeat. "If the girl won't break," she muttered one night, "then I'll make her fall with her own hands." That was when she began to plot. A week later, she called her son Kingsley into her room. "Kingsley," she whispered, "you see that your sister Amara? She thinks she's clever. She's trying to make your father love her more than us." Kingsley frowned. "But Mama, Amara hasn't done anything to me." "Quiet," she snapped. "You're too soft. Listen to me. I want you to follow her one day when she goes to that school and find out what she does there. Then we'll deal with her." Kingsley hesitated. He didn't want to betray Amara. She was the only one who ever treated him kindly. But he feared his mother's anger, so he reluctantly nodded. The next day, as Amara walked to St. Mary's with her tray on her head, Kingsley followed quietly from a distance. He watched her sell to customers, laugh with children, then sneak through the back gate into the school compound. When she came out later, smiling and clutching her books, he could see the light in her eyes, the light of hope. That evening, Mama Ifeama waited like a snake. "So?" she asked sharply as Kingsley entered. "What did you see?" He swallowed hard. She goes to the school, Mama, but she's not doing anything bad. She's just learning." Ifeama's lips twisted. "Learning? That's exactly the problem. She's learning too much for her own good." She leaned close, whispering her next move. "Tomorrow you will take that tray from her and fill it with something special detergent mixed with bleach. We'll see how long the school will tolerate her when someone gets hurt from her goods." Kingsley's eyes widened in horror. "Mama, no. That could harm someone." "Do you want to disobey me?" she hissed. "Do you want me to curse you?" Tears filled Kingsley's eyes. He nodded slowly, his heart heavy. The next morning, Amara prepared to leave for the market as usual. She smiled at her stepbrother. "Kingsley, help me carry the tray," she said kindly. He hesitated, guilt burning inside him. "Amara, maybe you shouldn't sell today," she frowned. "Why?" Just rest today, please." Amara chuckled softly. "You're funny. You know Mama Ifeama will shout if I don't go." Before he could stop her, she lifted the tray and walked away. As she disappeared down the road, Kingsley dropped to his knees, whispering, "God, please protect her. Please don't let anything bad happen." But it was too late. By evening, news spread through the neighborhood. A woman had bought detergent from Amara, washed her clothes, and the fabric got badly burned. People started murmuring, "Isn't that the girl Mama Ifeama's always complaining about? She must be a wicked child." When Amara returned home that night, her stepmother was waiting at the gate, fake tears in her eyes. "You see what you've caused?" she shouted. "You've brought shame to this family." Amara's heart raced. "Mama, I didn't do anything." "Quiet, you're cursed. From today you'll never sell again." Then she turned to her husband. "You see, Okafor? You see what your daughter is doing? Even the neighbors are saying she's possessed." Mr. Okafor was speechless, confused, torn between love and doubt. Amara stood there trembling, not because of her stepmother's lies, but because she realized something terrible. Someone had betrayed her, and she didn't yet know it was the one person she trusted most. That night, the Okafor compound was full of whispers. Neighbors pointed. Children mocked. Even the shopkeepers refused to greet Amara. Mama, Ifeama's story had spread like wildfire, that Amara sold poisoned detergent out of wickedness and jealousy. No one asked for Amara's side. No one cared. Inside the house, the air was thick with silence. Amara sat in a dark corner, her tray beside her, trembling. "Papa," she whispered, "I swear I didn't mix anything. I only sold what Mama gave me." Mr. Okafor rubbed his forehead tiredly. "My child, I want to believe you. But people are saying the detergent came from your hands." Tears filled her eyes. "Papa, I'm telling the truth." Before her father could speak again, Mama Ifeama stormed in dramatically. "Enough, Okafor. If you keep defending this girl, the whole town will say our family is cursed. Send her away before she destroys us all." Mr. Okafor sighed deeply, shaking his head. "No one is sending her anywhere. We will sort this out peacefully." But in that moment, Amara's eyes caught something. Kingsley, standing at the doorway, looking guilty and pale. Their eyes met, and suddenly she understood. He looked away, his lips trembling. "Kingsley," she said softly, You knew something, didn't you?" He froze. His mother's head snapped toward him. "What nonsense is this girl saying?" Amara rose to her feet, ignoring the pain in her bruised legs. "Kingsley, look at me, please. Tell Papa the truth." Her brother's eyes filled with tears. He shook his head. "I'm sorry, Amara. I didn't mean for things to go this far. What are you talking about?" their father demanded. Kingsley burst into tears. "Mama told me to mix bleach into the detergent. She said it would teach Amara a lesson. I didn't want to, Papa. I swear I didn't." The room went silent. Mr. Okafor turned slowly toward his wife. His voice trembled with fury. "Ifeama, you did what?" Ifeama's face twisted. "He's lying. You know how children are." "Enough," he roared. "I have been blind for too long. I should have seen the evil you've been hiding under your fake smiles." For the first time, Mama Ifeama had no words. Amara collapsed to her knees, weeping, not out of anger, but heartbreak. "Kingsley, why? I treated you like my own brother." Kingsley sobbed uncontrollably. "I'm sorry, Amara. Mama said she'd disown me if I didn't help her. Please forgive me." Amara reached out and touched his hand gently. "I forgive you, Kingsley. You're not the one I blame." She turned toward Mama Ifeama, her voice steady. "One day you'll realize that no matter how much you try to destroy me, God will raise me higher." Her stepmother scoffed, but her eyes flickered with fear because she could feel something shifting. Mr. Okafor pointed toward the door. "Ifeama, from today you're not allowed to touch this child again. If anything happens to her, I'll personally take you to the police." He turned to Amara, his voice softer now. "My daughter, I'm sorry I doubted you. From tomorrow, you will return to school officially." "No more sneaking?" Amara's eyes widened. "Papa, truly?" "Yes, my child," he said. "You've suffered enough." That night, Amara lay on her mat, staring at the ceiling. Her body still hurt, but her heart finally felt light. In the distance, thunder rumbled, as if the heavens were clapping for her courage. She whispered softly to herself, "They tried to bury me, but they didn't know I was a seed." The next morning, the world felt different. For the first time, Amara didn't wake up to insults or the sound of a broomstick slapping the ground. Instead, she woke up to her father's gentle voice. "Get ready, my daughter," Mr. Okafor said with a smile. "You're going to school today." Amara froze, still half asleep. "Papa, real school?" He laughed softly. "Yes, real school. Not hiding at the back of a classroom this time." Tears welled up in her eyes. She looked down at her old, torn dress. "But Papa, I don't have a uniform." He reached into a bag and pulled out a neatly folded blue uniform and a pair of second-hand black shoes. "It's not new, but it's yours." Amara held them like treasure. "Thank you, Papa. I'll make you proud." That afternoon, she walked through the gates of St. Mary's Secondary School again, but this time, not as a visitor or a secret student. This time, she walked as Amara Okoffer, an official student. Students whispered as she passed. Some remembered her as the Hawker girl. Others had heard rumors about her stepmother's cruelty. But Mrs. Nenna, the principal, smiled proudly when she saw her. "Welcome back, my brilliant girl," she said. "You deserve this." Amara bowed slightly. "Thank you, Ma." From that day on, Amara became a shining light in the school. She studied harder than anyone else, staying late, borrowing textbooks, reading by candlelight when others slept. Her teachers were amazed. Her classmates began to look up to her. And even Kelechi said one day, "Amara, I know you're going to be something great, but it wasn't easy." Mama Ifeoma still found ways to torment her, refusing her food, hiding her books, sometimes locking her outside when she came home late from school. Yet every insult, every hardship, became fuel for Amara's fire. Whenever she felt weak, she remembered her mother's last words before she died. "My child, light may hide in darkness for a while, but it can never be extinguished." Months passed. Then came the inter-school academic competition, where the best students from 5 schools would compete for a national scholarship. Mrs. Nene called Amara into her office one afternoon. "Amara," she said, smiling, "you've been chosen to represent St. Mary's." Amara gasped. "Me? But Ma, I don't even have proper shoes or books." The principal shook her head. "You have something better, determination. That's what wins battles." Amara couldn't hold back her tears. She knelt quickly. "Thank you, Ma. I won't disappoint you." That night, as she studied under the flickering lantern, Mama Ifeoma watched her from the doorway, her face twisted in jealousy. "She's still rising," she muttered. "No matter what I do, she keeps rising." She turned away, bitterness filling her chest. But Amara didn't see her. She was lost in her dream, whispering to herself, "I will win." Not to prove them wrong, but to prove that faith and hard work never fail. And deep within her heart, something told her that the competition ahead would change her life forever. The morning of the inter-school academic competition arrived with excitement and nerves. The school assembly ground was filled with cheering students, colorful banners, and the sound of drums. St. Mary's had never been this alive before. At the center of it all stood Amara, wearing her faded blue uniform and slightly oversized shoes. Though she looked simple, there was something royal about her confidence. Mrs. Nenna placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Remember, my dear, don't think of those who doubted you. Think of how far you've come." Amara nodded, her heart racing. "Yes, Ma." As the competition began, the large hall buzzed with tension. The judges, 3 professors from the state university, sat in front, while students from different schools filled the seats. Questions came one after another: mathematics, science, history, literature. Contestants began to sweat, fumble, and fail. But not Amara. Her answers flowed like water. Every word was calm, precise, and powerful. At one point, a judge leaned to another and whispered, "That girl, where did she come from?" Mrs. Nenna watched proudly from the crowd, her hands clasped tightly. As the competition neared the end, only 2 contestants remained: Amara and a rich girl from City Elite College named Pamela. Pamela smirked. "You, a Hawker girl? Let's see how long your luck lasts." Amara simply smiled. "It's not luck. It's grace." The final question dropped like thunder. If a nation loses its moral compass, what is the one thing that can restore its dignity? Pamela froze. She looked around nervously. But Amara closed her eyes for a moment, then spoke calmly into the microphone. "Hope," she said, "because when people believe again, they can rebuild anything, their lives, their homes, their future." The hall went silent. Then suddenly applause erupted. The judges smiled, nodding in admiration. "That," one of them said, "was not just an answer. That was wisdom." When the results were announced, St. Mary's School exploded in celebration. "The winner is Amara Okafor." Tears streamed down her face as Mrs. Nena hugged her tightly. "You did it, my child, you did it." Reporters rushed forward, taking pictures. Even students from other schools came to shake her hand. But as the cameras flashed, one person stood at the back, Mama Ifeama. She had come secretly, thinking she would watch Amara embarrass herself. But now, as she watched the girl she once called useless standing tall before the crowd, something inside her broke. She turned away, tears burning her eyes. Later that evening, when Amara returned home, the whole neighborhood gathered to congratulate her. Mr. Okafor's smile couldn't be contained. "That's my daughter. You've made me proud." Mama Ifeama said nothing. She just watched from the corner, her mind in turmoil. Amara approached her quietly and knelt. "Mama," she said softly, "I forgive you. For everything." The words pierced through her stepmother's heart like lightning. Tears rolled down Mama Ifeama's cheeks. She tried to speak, but no words came out. For the first time, shame defeated her pride. That night, Amara placed her trophy beside her bed, looked up at the ceiling, and whispered, "God, thank you for turning my pain into power." But she had no idea that her journey was still far from over. The scholarship she had just won would soon open doors and reveal secrets she never expected to find. The morning sun painted the sky golden as Amara stood beside her small bag, tightly clutched in her hands. Her heart raced with both fear and excitement. The State Polytechnic scholarship had come as a miracle. She was to represent her school and study mass communication, all expenses paid. It felt like a dream come true. Mr. Okafor hugged her tightly. "My daughter, go and make the world know your name. Your mother is smiling in heaven." Amara's eyes glistened. "I will, Papa, I promise." Even Mama Ifeama, who had once hated her with passion, stood silently by the door. She wanted to speak, to say she was sorry, but guilt sealed her lips. Amara smiled gently at her. "Mama, take care of yourself. Take care of Adora and Ifeanyi." Mama Ifeama swallowed hard and nodded. "Safe journey, my daughter." Her voice cracked, her eyes heavy with unshed tears. As the bus roared to life and began to move, Amara looked out the window, waving goodbye to the only world she had ever known. The dusty roads, the mango trees, the old market where she used to hawk detergent under the sun. But this time she wasn't leaving as a hawker. She was leaving as a rising star. The road was long, stretching endlessly through green fields and busy towns. She clutched her Bible tightly, whispering, "Mama, wherever you are, your daughter is finally free." When the bus reached the city, Amara was stunned. Tall buildings touched the clouds. Cars zoomed past with horns blaring. The streets smelled of roasted corn and exhaust fumes. It was noisy, overwhelming, yet full of promise. Chidera was waiting for her at the station, dressed in a simple gown, smiling brightly. "Amara," she called out, waving. Amara dropped her bag and ran into her arms. They hugged tightly, laughing and crying all at once. Chidera grinned. "I told you, your story isn't over. This is just the beginning." Together, they boarded a taxi heading toward the Polytechnic. At the campus gate, Amara froze. The place was huge, students moving in every direction, laughter filling the air, the sound of life everywhere. Chidera whispered, "Welcome to your new world." Amara smiled, her eyes full of wonder. It feels like heaven, but life in the city wasn't easy. She shared a small hostel room with 3 other girls. Sometimes she had to skip meals. Sometimes she studied by candlelight when there was no electricity. Yet she never complained. Every hardship reminded her of where she came from and how far she had come. Her lecturers quickly noticed her brilliance. She spoke eloquently, wrote powerfully, and soon became one of the most admired students in her department. During one lecture, the Had said, "Some students are born to pass exams, but this one she's born to lead." The class applauded. Amara's face flushed with gratitude. Back home, news of her success began to spread. Villagers whispered, "That's the girl her stepmother used to send hawking. Now she's studying in the city." Mama Ifeama would pretend not to care, but inside regret gnawed at her. Sometimes she would sit alone at night, holding her wrapper tight, whispering, "I should have treated her like my own. I should have known better." But it was too late. One evening, Amara stood at the balcony of her hostel, watching the sunset. The golden sky reminded her of her mother's laughter. She whispered, "Mama, the world is finally seeing me. But I'll never forget where I came from." The wind blew softly, almost as if answering her. Little did Amara know that fate was preparing one last scene, one that would shake the entire state and bring her story full circle. Because in just a few months, she would stand before thousands, and her name would echo through the hall as the best graduating student of her department. 3 years later, the sun rose slowly over the Polytechnic campus. Banners fluttered, trumpets sounded, and crowds filled the convocation ground. It was graduation day, the day Amara had dreamed of since she was a little girl. She stood before her mirror in a neatly pressed gown and a shining graduation cap. Her hands trembled slightly as she adjusted it. "Amara, are you ready?" Chidera asked, grinning from ear to ear. Amara turned and smiled. "I've been ready all my life." The hall was decorated in gold and white. Dignitaries sat on the high table. Students in colorful gowns filled every seat. When the vice-chancellor rose to speak, his voice echoed through the microphone. "Today we celebrate excellence, perseverance, and the power of hope. And this year's best graduating student is someone whose story reminds us all that your beginning does not define your end." The crowd fell silent, waiting. He looked at his list, then smiled. "Please welcome Miss Amara Okafor." The audience erupted in applause. Students jumped to their feet. Some whistled. Others shouted her name. Amara froze for a second. Tears instantly filled her eyes. She walked slowly to the stage, each step replaying the memories in her mind, her mother's laughter, the days she sold detergent under the sun, the hunger, the mockery, the pain, the hope, and now, this moment. As she stood on stage, the vice-chancellor placed a golden medal around her neck and handed her a certificate. "Congratulations, Miss Okafor. You've made history." Amara took the microphone, her hands shaking. Her voice was soft, but carried across the crowd. "I stand here today not as a girl who had everything, but as a girl who lost everything, except faith. When my mother died, I thought my life had ended. When people mocked me, I thought God had forgotten me. But today I know, pain doesn't kill purpose. It prepares it." The audience gasped, deeply moved. To every child out there selling on the street, to every orphan who feels invisible, remember this: you are not forgotten. Your story is still being written. Tears streamed down her cheeks as she raised her medal to the sky. "Mama, this is for you." The entire hall stood. The applause thundered. Even the lecturers had tears in their eyes. Among the crowd, Mr. Okafor sat with trembling hands, crying like a child. "That's my daughter. That's my Amara." Beside him, Mama Ifeama wept silently, Unable to look away, she whispered, "Forgive me, Amara. I didn't know I was raising a queen." That evening, journalists surrounded her. Pictures were taken. Her story spread like wildfire across social media. From street hawker to best graduate, the inspiring story of Amara Okafor. Soon, a local foundation reached out, offering her a scholarship to study abroad. Amara couldn't believe it. Her knees hit the floor as she whispered, "Thank you, Lord. You truly make beauty out of ashes." Months later, she stood again, this time at the airport, about to board a plane to the United Kingdom. Chidera hugged her tightly. "Go make us proud, my sister." Amara smiled through her tears. "I'll come back, not just successful, but useful." She looked up at the sky one last time and whispered, "Mama, your little girl is flying now." As the plane soared through the clouds, the sun broke through, shining on her face, a final reminder that no darkness lasts forever. Because once upon a time she was just a poor orphan hawking soap under the scorching sun. But today she was Amara Okafor, the girl who turned her tears into triumph. The end, the light that never dies.
Subscribe for more content.